Right. And I think this is another case of the Rays will be up on a high for a little bit and then they'll come back to earth. They'll be up on a high for a little bit and then come back to earth. So
you are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and check us out. We have a busy, hopefully fun show today discussing the Rays taking 2 out of 3 up in New York, up in the Bronx. Unexpected, but it was nice to see and experience. We'll discuss the impacts of that, what the Rays did well, what they didn't do so well, and then get into some listener comments to close out the show.
But first, we got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That was a fun weekend of baseball. We saw a comeback win on Saturday. We saw a tremendous holding of said eventual win on Sunday.
Right.
A lot of good things to take over. I know Friday was a drag, but overall, taking a series against not only the Yankees, but at the Bronx,
right,
I feel like should lift everybody's spirits somewhat from what was a horrible start to this week.
Right. And I think this is another case of the Rays will be up on a high for a little bit, and then they'll come back to earth. They'll be up on a high for a little bit, and then come back to earth. So it has me, look, I'm happy and upbeat and positive right now, but this series doesn't totally entail or disclose that the Rays are back, quote unquote, because I would imagine there will be some tough games coming at the Stein, particularly against the Philadelphia Phillies, which we'll talk about on Tuesday's episode. But for the time being, we can redeem in the 2 victories that the Rays were able to capitalize on. And I don't think we need to spend too much on Friday's game, getting shut out and hit 3-0. That's pretty much what we expected. I think that going into that game, going into that series, circling and seeing Max Fried on the mound and knowing how the Rays have struggled against Max Fried and other like-minded pitchers, it was just a case of just chalk it up to a W here. You know, we're probably not going to do much of anything. I mean, I think that it was a nothing game for the first 4 innings. So we saw, you know, a solid pitcher's duel for a little bit there, and then the Yankees were able to pull away. But at that point, you just have to, you know, tip your hat to the Yankees' highest paid left-handed starter in their franchise history.
And I will say that was a 3-run bomb by Paul Goldschmidt on Friday, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Against Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever hear a quote why Montgomery was facing Paul Goldschmidt, an eventual Hall of Famer, facing a rookie lefty with a lot of gasoline where you can just put the barrel on the ball and short porch it, and that's exactly what happened? Did we ever get a quote on that?
I did not see a quote or an answer or any information on that, unfortunately, but it was surprising. And it was surprising that Ryan Pepio only lasted a 4 1/3 innings before he was lifted. Sure, there's things he could have done better, but you wonder if, you know, maybe you let him squeeze it out, get to 100, 105 pitches and see what happens after that. But I also understand what the Rays are trying to do where, hey, you're in a scoreless ball game up to that point. Let's just, throw a cavalcade of relievers at the Yankees and see if we can get it worked out. But yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, very good pitcher, very good hitter. Mason Montgomery, very young, inexperienced pitcher who has a lot of talent, but is can be prone to the long ball.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at the it was because Mason Montgomery faced Ben Rice, strikes him out, and then Goldschmidt homers. So it was eventually, Cody Bellinger flied out afterwards. So it was a lane there for the lefty. It's just unfortunate because, you had to face Paul Goldschmidt with the 3 batter minimum rule. So, okay, so there's that. So I guess they said, we'd rather have Montgomery with the lefties here. And then, unfortunately, the one righty ended up getting Montgomery. But yeah, I think that's what we can say about Friday's game. You were facing a Cy Young type of pitcher, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. But Saturday and Sunday, I think we should focus more because it really showed 2 types of Rays victories. The comeback win, which it needed to happen. You had the game right there in the 7th, 8th inning to take, and they did. They were able to do so, not with extra base hits, but rather with wheels and with well-placed grounders. And my favorite is Yankee defense just putting it on blast for everybody to watch. I mean, Volpe couldn't get to a ball on his left, then maybe tweaked something underneath his armpit or the shoulder, then bobbles it right in front of Meade. Meade kind of tripped Volpe, which was, I'm not going to say, Volpe's fine from that, but it was kind of funny to see how the slide guy Volpe as well. And they got through. Caballero, well-placed hit, man. We needed to see a Rays win like that, where you were about to lose and they were able to get it, even if it came with a couple of grounders and lots of speed.
Yes, and I do want to focus on Saturday and Sunday because that was good stuff from the Tampa Bay Rays over the weekend. But before we get to that, we do need to tell the audience something very important.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started, and it's a complete look at your financial well-being. It manages your money. You can start building wealth. It's fantastic. It gives you everything. It's not just a budgeting app. And today, you can get started and take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's right. Using code LOCKEDONMLB gets you 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
All right, continuing on the program here. Yes, what you mentioned about Saturday is correct, where it's good to see the Rays showing some gumption, that they're from behind. They have to battle, grind until they get a key opportunity in the 8th inning, scoring 2 runs there. And it was a case of, did it come by a 2-run home run by Jonathan Aranda or Brandon Lau? No, it didn't. It was just a slow bleed by the Rays of a single, a walk, couple stolen bases, a single, reaching on a fielder's choice like that. And that's kind of what happened on Sunday. I know Sunday the Rays had a lot more hits, but it's not like, you look at Sunday's game and you see the Rays win 7-5. You would think, okay, maybe the Rays had, 2 home runs or 3 solo shots or something like that. But that was not the case at all. But it was good to see what the Rays did. And to your point about Anthony Volpe, really the entirety of whoever was playing shortstop for the Yankees on Saturday and Sunday just was rough moment after rough moment. And luckily the Rays were able to take advantage of that in multiple facets. And it makes you kind of perhaps appreciate Taylor Walls and what he does defensively, because the ineptitude by the Yankees at that position probably cost them a couple runs over the course of this entire series, which, by the way, if we're speaking on Taylor Walls for a moment, this might be like his best stretch of 2 or 3 games offensively in history. I know, Saturday he didn't do all that much. He did have a sac fly, which was a critical 1 run there. But on Sunday, I would have to go back in the archives and check and verify whether he has ever had a 4-hit game in his time with Tampa Bay. I would say probably not. And if so, it's very rare and very scant.
Very rare indeed. I believe it happened against the Reds in 2023, which I believe is the same series that KK got hurt. Maybe not. Maybe KK was already out with the Blue Jays by then. But yeah, I think 2023 in Cincinnati Reds. I feel like they said that on the broadcast. I forget. But yeah, tremendous Sunday for Taylor Walls. And I think you can go a little bit more on the Yankees defense there. I don't think it cost them a couple runs. I think it cost them the game on Saturday, to be quite honest. Like it. So yeah, defense definitely plays, and we have always, I think, made it a point that if we're going to talk negatively about Taylor Walls' offensive prowess, we make sure to also highlight the positives in the base running, the walk rate, and how good he is with the glove. Yeah. And when you look at other teams, and in this case, the Yankees, you notice the different level of skills that it takes to be at that level, where when you're used to good defense, you don't claim good defense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You kind of take it you take it for granted, so to speak, of, that was a good play. Yeah, but that's what he does. But when Volpe or Peraza, mess up or can't hang on to the ball or have trouble with a throw or have trouble gloving something, it's like, okay, now we sort of know the necessity of having somebody that's so statuesque there.
The level of playing that the other teams are seeing, and I'm sure that they can, other teams, when they see somebody else with the Rays, are like, but with defense, it's very glaring when you don't have it. You don't notice it when you have it. When you don't have it, my God, it's glaring. Talking about defense, now that we're on talking about the D, how about Curtis meets D on Sunday's game? My gosh. I mean, honestly, and on Saturday's game too, he blocks that ball to end the game at first base. He had a great pick up there at first base too with a low throw on Saturday, and then on Sunday, just started a fantastic double play from third base. A nice, he went to the left, his left on his knees, through to second, little twist. Fantastic. I mean, you see these plays and you understand how quick they have to be, man. That ball got to meet so fast, but he was able to turn it around for a double play. Caballero also had a couple good plays during the weekend. I think overall it was a good weekend for the Rays defensively.
Outside of Chandler Simpson missing. Which, again, that's going to happen with the rookie. He's still relatively new to the position. I know he's had another major gaffe or two in his time with the Rays, but you're just going to have to take the punches while you can. Yes. And honestly, yes, it sucks, but he's also made some unbelievable 5-star catches. So exactly, I think that as he gets more work and reps in an off season and he gets really comfortable playing center field, you're going to see him start to grow and thrive. And who knows, maybe he becomes a plus defender at that position. Will he ever be Kevin Kiermaier? No, but because he brings so much more to the table offensively, I'm willing to take the good with the bad defensively. And Chandler Simpson was a guy who had his name written all over this series, particularly Saturday and Sunday. And you can look at his numbers and okay, he only has a 648 OPS. I do not care what Chandler Simpson's OPS is. That does not matter to me one bit. Unlike a Chris Morel or a Yandy Diaz or a Brandon Lau. What I care with Chandler Simpson, really not even batting average. It's on-base percentage. how often is he getting on base? Whether it's a bunt, a sacrifice, or not a sacrifice, but a fielder's choice, an error, whatever it is, however he gets to first and whatever can boost or elevate the times he is on base, that is all that matters in my book, because you see when he was on base how he was such an engine starter for the offense over the course of Saturday and Sunday in multiple ways.
Honestly, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because I put a tweet out there on the X sphere. If you watch baseball because it's fun, there's no way you don't find Chandler Simpson fun. Like, he is so cool to watch. I was gonna even say the same thing that you were gonna say. I don't care if it's a 660 OPS for Chandler Simpson. That's a great way to look at it. What's his on base? I need him on base. If it's a 330 or higher clip, good, fantastic. I will buy that, because anytime he's on base, my man, this good things are gonna happen. He is so bleeping fast. Like, double plays, not a thing with him.
Even on a play, even on something that should be a double play for 98% of the league, he finds a way to get there.
When Randy Arozarena was in the 82nd, 84th percentile, he would still like ground into like 13 double plays a season. Right. I'm not saying Chandler Simpson's in the 82nd percentile. I'm just using that as a barometer, because Chandler Simpson broke the percentile. I mean, he is right. He makes the bar. A grounder to second, and he was safe. Like, he is something else. Honestly, I don't think in my 34 years on this earth I've seen somebody as fast as Chandler Simpson play the game of baseball.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
From home to first in 3.73 seconds.
Again,
short to the baseball. When he makes contact, or he thinks he makes contact, he's already up the line to first, which helps him tremendously. I mean, even if he was a right-handed hitter, he would still, find his way to get on base a lot more. But the fact that he's starting out as a lefty gives him so much more of an inherent advantage. So
I do have something about him where he is in the lineup, and I want to get your take on this, and kind of we can talk through it. But I think we first have to tell folks something very important, Kev, right?
Yes, we do. All right, let's tell you about Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. So whether you need extra hands for a project or that long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today.
So he was on Sunday. I don't remember on Saturday, but I think it was the same thing, but maybe I'm wrong. But let's just talk about Sunday. Okay. He was hitting first, and behind him was Brandon Lau. I don't think I like that combination, and I'll explain why. I need Chandler Simpson to be as free to roam those bases as much as he can. If you put Brandon Lau behind Chandler Simpson, there's the old adage of like, don't take the power guy's bat away by having the runner try to steal second or third. And hey, that adage, I understand and all for it. In this case, I don't want that adage because that adage is for fast guys, just like fast guys. Chandler Simpson's not fast. He's the next thing after fast. He's the level that you didn't know the game had It's
Right.
it's the hidden track in the album that you have to let the last song go for 12 minutes on silence,
Right.
and then the hidden song. That's who Chandler Simpson is. So I understand the adage. I don't give
Okay.
a bleep about the adage. But if Kevin Cash and company do give a bleep about that adage, then I do not want to see Chandler Simpson in front of Brendan Lau. That's my take. I don't know what you think, Kevin, and I want to hear what other Locked On Rays fans on YouTube comments think about that. Please put it down in the comments.
So would it be more appropriate to have, say, Yandy Diaz batting in the 2-hole, where
would like
you know that Yandy's not necessarily going to hit a home run, and you can kind of be more free to roam on the base paths? You have Chandler steal second, Yandy hits a single the other way, blooper in between the first and second baseman, and before you know it, Chandler Simpson's home, and you have your first run. I do like that. I'm good with that. Yeah, I think
exactly.
that's a good thought and something to monitor going forward for sure. Yeah, and it's kind of not crazy, but it's just a testament to Chandler Simpson that, you know, within the first couple games, it's already like, yeah, if you're playing, we like you at the top of the order. So the Rays realize what they have on their hands. I do want to note, you know, just over the course of this weekend, we saw a lot of good performances throughout. We spotlighted Taylor Walls, we spotlighted Chandler Simpson, but I mean, Curtis Mead getting a couple hits on Saturday. Chris Morrell getting a couple hits on Saturday. Jankowski getting 3 hits on Sunday. I mean, the work was going around, and then, you know, Jonathan Aranda was his usual self on Sunday with 3 hits and a home run. I saw a stat where he has the second highest hard hit percentage in baseball behind Shohei Ohtani. So when he's making contact, he's making really good contact, as we're seeing. So keep throwing those fastballs on the inner third to him, please, and let's see what he can do. But overall, we saw, I mean, the theme was sort of the same of walks, singles, find a way to advance and move the runner over, be creative with scoring your runs, and we saw that. Saturday, the Rays had 5 stolen bases and 6 walks. Sunday, they had 16 hits in 5 walks. You wish that they probably would have taken a little bit more advantage with runners in scoring position. I think they had bases loaded multiple times and they weren't totally able to capitalize. But hey, you really can't complain about scoring 7 runs against the Yankees on the road. And then I do want to make a note. We haven't really talked too much about the pitching outings for the Rays, but just a shout out to Zach Littell on Saturday. 7 strong innings, 2 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. In those 2 earned runs were on solo homers to Aaron Judge, who is doing things that I think Jimmy Fox and Hank Aaron were the only guys to do. Like he is, it is totally a different ball game for him and everybody else, and Austin Wells. So again, I'm okay with giving up homers if they're of the solo variety, and that keeps the game within the realm for the Rays to take advantage. So I think that is Littell's 3rd quality start in his last 4 outings. So quietly and methodically, he is putting together good performances without all the, you know, flash and circumstance that you might see with a Shane Baz, for example. He does it under the radar, if you will.
And last but not least, the bullpen. Uceta had a couple of clutch outings there. Manuel Rodriguez also came out of a good spot there, and Pete Fairbanks able to close the door, and especially on Sunday with those 3 strikeouts. And he was facing a Judge there in the 9th. I know that Judge, without anybody on base, can hit a 2-run home run, but you still don't want to have that happen with a solo shot, and Fairbanks was able to close out the door. So yeah, everybody really did a tremendous job. Now it's on to back home, where the Phillies, I believe, are next, but that is something we will talk about on Tuesday's episode, Kev.
Yes, it is. In the meantime, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.